So my name is Marcy. I'm the CEO of Pina Consulting, and I'm a business coach. I'm really excited to be here to talk to you today. I love working with entrepreneurs. I love your passion, your dedication, your spirit, your energy. I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years, so I started when I was 9. And I had a business consulting with large corporations back in the day, and I also had a professional painting and decorating company. And that was very successful, and I did that for a number of years, and I learned a ton. I'd never been an entrepreneur before. I always had sort of odd jobs. So I was fixing other people's problems, and I would get really bored really quickly because I could see the problem, I could fix it, and I put a process in place and teach them, and then I would say, okay, I can do this myself. So I did. I went out on my own, and that lasted for a few years. It was really great. And then I had a life transition, and I decided that I needed a little bit more security. And I went into a corporate position. But I took my entrepreneurial self with me. So I went in as Marcy Inc. And I said, these are my clients, and how can I provide a service, and how can I add value? So I would go around and I would ask people, and I would look for things. Where is it different? Think outside the box. And everything was in this little box, and they had to do it just this way. They came up in finance, and everybody escalated in finance. So they came up in engineering, or they came up in marketing. And I was all over the place. You know, whatever needed to be done, wherever the gap could be closed, that's what I wanted to do. So I was very assertive, and I went looking for things to do. I looked for problems and how I could fix them, and I was very lucky. I worked for a #1 consumer packaged goods company, and I was there for 12 years, and I was able to survive being outside of a normal box. And I went very quickly up the corporate ladder, learned a ton about business and how to run a business properly. And you know, towards the end of my 12 years there, a lot of restructures were happening, a lot of jobs were being cut, and I remember the day. It was November the 11th, Monday, November the 11th, Remembrance Day, 2013, and out of the blue, 60 jobs, including mine, got cut. And so I said, okay, thank you very much. I needed a kick in the pants because I was getting bored. I mean, I had sort of done everything I could possibly do there. It was a big company, and I took full advantage of it. And I said, okay, now what am I going to do? You know, I got comfortable, great salary, I had benefits, it was cushy, I could do what I wanted. And I said, maybe I need to go into that again. And I said, no, I need anxiety, I need to think bigger. And as big as this company was, it wasn't big enough for me because my ideas were bigger. And I wanted to work with all kinds of different people and partner and do different things. And I said, no, I have to go back out on my own. But what am I going to do? So I'm a professional project manager. That's my core skill. And I'm a business person. So I said, okay, well, how can I combine these two? So initially, when I went into business, I was working with consumer packaged goods companies, and I was helping with their program improvement, project management, and innovation, and that was great. And I still do that. But what I started to see was I love the entrepreneurial side. So if you want to just switch aside, what I learned when I started my business that I realized other entrepreneurs maybe didn't know was really about, you know, we always say time is money. Okay, so what does that mean? When you're working for somebody else, big deal. You punch a clock, you come in the morning, you go in the end of the day, you get your paycheck. You know, you don't necessarily work 8 solid hours or 12 solid hours. You're chatting, you go for lunch, you're doing whatever. When you're an entrepreneur, you know, time is money. You're not getting paid unless you're doing activities that are going to generate income. And there's a tendency to be very visionary and be very focused on the technical skill that you come in with and not really look at the business plan as a whole. So these are some of the 7 steps. You know, there's a phrase from the story Alice in Wonderland that says, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. You can be busy and you can be working on stuff. And it's great that you're creative and you have vision, right? But if you don't plan and you don't know where you're going, you're not necessarily going to be successful, and for sure it's not going to be sustainable. So what I try and help people with is I wanted you to build a good, solid foundation so that you can do the thing that you love, do it well, make some money at it, and be able to continue growing and doing what you want to do. So the first thing is you've got to have a business plan. How many people, if you're in business, or entrepreneurs, how many have a business plan? Yeah, that's kind of iffy, right? A business plan is critical, especially if your company needs money. You won't get money unless you have a business plan, right? So the business plan, what it does, it's really a 50,000-foot look at your business, and it says who, when, where, what, why. How are you going to do all of this? How are you going to fund it? Who do you need? But it's a really high-level vision of it. The next thing you need to do is you need to have a strategic plan. So we bring it down a little bit closer, and you say, what are the key activities? So let's say you want to make $1 million in sales in a year. That's your goal. You put that in your business plan. So it's going to come from, let's say, 3 or 5 very specific activities that you're going to do. You've got to take each one of those activities, and you have to look at it in detail. What does that mean? What's the scope of that? Who do you need to help with that? How much money do you need to do that? And what's the length of time that you need to work on that? And then we bring it down a little bit closer. We look at that planning in more detail. Each strategic goal by itself. And we break it down and we break it down until we really, really understand it. And most people are really good at getting to sort of this planning stage, right? I got an idea, I know what I want to do. But then comes the scheduling. So let's say, for instance, I know I've done a plan of a goal that I want to do. And I know that in 4 weeks from now, I need something to happen that's going to take 2 hours. So I need to look 4 weeks from now in my calendar, literally, and book those 2 hours in the calendar. And I will guarantee you, if I looked at your calendars right now to see what activities you have planned in there, except for maybe Mandy, who's one of my clients, most people's calendars are sort of, they're not as structured that way because people are not taking and literally putting in your calendar. What this does is it means that you will actually get it done. One, you'll get it done on the day it needs to happen, or you'll build yourself a little bit of buffer so things slide, other things come up from time to time. But if it has to move, you've got it identified, and so you move it. It doesn't fall off. So that's where the time management piece comes in. When you take your strategic plan as your most important priorities, and you literally start to plug it into your calendar gets full of the things that are most important that you need to do to achieve your goals. And then all the other stuff gets plugged in around it. You guys know the story about the jar? There's a teacher, he comes to the farm room, he's got a big jar, and it's empty. And he has 3 other jars, and one is full of big boulders. And he says, is this jar full? And everybody says, yes, of course it's full to the top. And then there's one, and it's full of rocks. And he says, is this full? Yes, it's full. The next one is full of sand. He says, is this full? Yes, it's full. So all 3 of those jars are full. Okay, now we're going to put all of that into here. And the students say, that's insane. You can't do that. They're already full. So they start with the boulders. They put the boulders in, and they say, is this jar full? Yes. Now take the pebbles. Put the pebbles in. Guess what? Pebbles go in all the little spaces that are left. Is the jar full? Yes. Okay, now take the sand, and guess what? The sand fills up all the rest of those little spaces, and it's full. And so what I'm trying to tell you is that's what your calendar needs to look like. You need to have the big stuff plugged in, because if you start with all the little stuff that you're being busy with, you don't have room at the end for big boulders to fit in, the big important stuff. You've got to plug the big stuff in first. And that includes your personal stuff. If you have a child's graduation coming up, or you have a big event coming up, an important appointment coming up, you have to plug that in. Okay, so those are the big things, and it makes sure it gets done. That's the time management piece. Productivity I'm going to talk to you about in a minute. Accountability. When you're in business for yourself, especially if you're very creative and you tend to focus in the artistic side of things, time can get away from you, and the goals that you have can get away from you. So you need an accountability partner. I'm going to talk to you about some ways you can do that. You can have a coach, you can have literally a partner, you can have a friend, but you need somebody, because you know what, I'm the same as you, right? There are days I have a sales coach, and he'll say to me, how many presentations did you do today, and how many customers do you talk to? I say, I don't want to. I don't feel like it. I just feel like being on the web and doing stuff, or working on my website and on Facebook. And he says, okay, well then how much money did you make today? And how much further are you towards your goal? And I know that I can only do that for so long because I'm accountable. I've hired him to say, keep me on track to the goals that I want to do, right? Because it's easy for us to sort of procrastinate and do things we don't want to do. You know, you guys talked about building a team. This is so important. Everybody talked about collaboration. One of the things that I learned that's critical to success in business is collaboration. So when you're in business for yourself, you wear all of these hats plus some. One, you need to know what all of the hats are. What are all the different pieces of your business so that you don't neglect anything? And then the other thing is, you know, you're not going to do all of these by yourself. So we switch to the next slide. This is how I like to look at business and what I tell my clients. This is me in the middle. This is like Marcy Inc. And let's say I need IT, for example. I have my IT gurus here with me tonight. So I partner with them because I don't know anything about IT, and I don't really care about IT and, you know, science and math and all that kind of stuff. You know, I'm glad to know you because it's not my thing. So I need to partner with people who have skill set that I don't have. I still need to get that stuff done in my business, but I'm not going to be the one to do it. It is not a value-added use of my time. So some of the ways that you get these partners and these people to connect with, you can do partnerships, you meet people through networking, you know, leverage your network, right? How many people are on LinkedIn? Okay. When somebody reaches out to you and they connect with you on LinkedIn, what do you do? Respond. How many people just accept it and that's the end of it? Okay, so what do? You respond. Did you mean you just accept it? Okay, what do you do?
If it's someone I know, I'll write them back.
The whole idea is you're networking. It's a professional partnership. How can you be in a professional partnership with somebody you don't know anything about? So somebody connects with you, go back, or I'll connect with you and say, hey, let's have a conversation. Tell me who you are. Tell me what you do. Maybe you could be a partner with me. Maybe you have a service that I need. Or maybe you could be a referral partner and we can do this together, sharing. And that's how you grow. So you can do it through bartering, through client referrals, you can do it cross-promotion. A board of directors, you don't necessarily have to pay them. Get people that you know who have expertise and ask them to be your advisors. Because sitting in your own head, in your own world, is very challenging. You need to bounce ideas off of people who have the expertise. And you know what? When you're an entrepreneur, people love helping you. You can get CEOs of Fortune 500 companies who will voluntarily come and be on your board of advisors. They want to help. They want to give back. Reach out to people that you know. And again, mentors and course coaches. We're always here to help. You have to evaluate and you have to adjust. So look at your business plan, look at your strategic plan, and again, where are you? How are you doing? What's working well? What's not working well? Did you exceed your expectations? Did you miss your expectations? You can look at it monthly, probably a little too much. Quarterly, half year for sure. So it's July. If you've got a business plan, that business plan, a strategic plan better have come out in the last month or so and for a review. If not, I strongly suggest you do it. And at the very least, once a year, you've got to be looking at it, right? And you don't have to do it at year end when it's a holiday season and you feel like, oh, I don't want to do all this. Do it at a time that's comfortable for you, but make sure you're looking at it. See what's working, and then go back and adjust. So if we switch to the last slide, you know, it's like the shampoo bottle says, right? For best results, do it and repeat. It's the same thing over and over and over again. But here's where the productivity piece comes in, because again, time is money. So every activity that you're doing is to generate money. So you want to go back and look at your plans, go back through this process, maybe not in as much detail, and say, how can I do things better, faster, more efficient, more effective? How can I leverage other people so I'm not spending time over here when I'm better over here? And that's it. You know, I hope that this has some value for you because again, I don't want to crush your spirit, and I know entrepreneurs don't want to have, you know, don't want the rigidity of the process and all this stuff. You want to be free, you want to be flexible, and you can have all of that. But if you want to be successful and you want to make money and you want it to be sustainable and repeatable, you've got to have a plan. And if you need some help with this, like I said, there's all kinds of resources. Come and talk to me after if you have any questions. very least, I hope and pray that you'll be successful in your ventures and you'll have many long years of entrepreneurship ahead.
Thank you so much, Marcy. That was amazing. Who here learned something? I really like the analogy of the boulders, pebbles, and the sand. I sometimes block off those working hours to make sure I'm at my desk, but not always, and I'm going to be much more consistent. Right before I introduce our anchor for tonight, I just wanted to do two really quick things.